sahog para makauwi sa kanilang probinsya para ma-celebrate yung Pasko. Ang guarantees namin basta nandito sila, makakasakay sila, no? Kasi marami namang readily available na units. It's just that kailangan lang tanuhin mabuti kung saan mo sa dadaling ruta.
From the nation's capital, all sides, all the time, I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Sean Yao. The big story tonight.
Foot traffic at the PITX is seen to have reached its peak today, 2 days before Christmas.
To accommodate the influx of passengers, the MMDA will be temporarily allowing provincial buses to pass through EDSA. Gerard de la Peña with the big story.
The Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange is jam-packed with passengers 2 days before Christmas. Most trips are already fully booked, particularly those bound for Bicol. Arnalyn didn't sleep last night to line up at the ticket counter so she can visit her family in Camarines Sur. She said she wasn't able to book a ticket online.
Nag-alanganin kasi kami dahil nung nakaraan maulan daw sa Kamsur. Baka naman mahirapan kami kaya hindi na kami nagpabook online. Opo. Kaya hindi namin alam kung kailan tutuloy ba kami yung hindi.
Meanwhile, passengers like Oliver are still unsure if they will make it to the trip.
Nung nandito na kami sa malapit, hinold kami kasi wala na raw bus. Fully book na daw hanggang 29. Tapos yun nga, seat passenger na lang daw.
The PITX management said passenger volume reached 151,000 on Thursday and is expected to go up further.
Ito kasi yung mga humahabol kasi nga, nagtrabaho pa sila the whole week, minaksimized pa nila yung kanilang earning capacity. And then ngayon lang sila nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na makabiyahe pa tungo sa kanilang mga probinsya.
Salvador said all passengers will be accommodated.
Ang guarantees namin basta nandito sila, makakasakay sila, no? Kasi marami namang readily available na units. It's just that kailangan lang tanuhin mabuti kung saan mo sa dadaling ruta.
Police personnel have been making rounds at the terminal to ensure safety. The LTO and the LTFRB, for their part, are ready to issue permits for additional buses if needed. Meanwhile, the MMDA will allow provincial buses along EDSA to cater to the influx of passengers. They can traverse the thoroughfare from December 24 until January 2 next year. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, We Are One News.
Let's check in on the traffic situation along EDSA with Faith Del Mundo. Faith, how are things moving along there?
Yes, Sean, more and more vehicles are actually here in EDSA, and we are actually 2 days before Christmas. And as you can see here behind my back, here we are now here in EDSA Reliance here northbound, and more vehicles are here. There's actually moderate to heavy traffic. Bumper-to-bumper traffic in the major thoroughfare has been also a headache for motorists. Some cars even overheated, prompting the need for fire officials to come and help. In the southbound lane, moderate traffic can be expected from Muñoz, Magallanes to Cabrera, Pasay. And the same goes for Ortigas, White Plains to Aurora Boulevard, Trinoma to SM North, Cloverleaf to NLEX. Like in previous days, we were able to talk to some commuters who are having a hard time finding rides. MMDA Chairman Artes said heavy traffic can be expected until midnight. He said vehicle volume in EDSA could reach 420,000, exceeding pre-pandemic levels. Mall hours, meanwhile, are back to normal, while provincial buses have been temporarily allowed to ply EDSA. Sean, the MMDA actually tells the commuters and the motorists to pack patience and, of course, to also make sure that their cars are in good working condition. Sean?
Thank you so much for those updates. Faith Del Mundo reporting to us live from EDSA.
Now let's talk more about the holiday rush with MMDA spokesperson Melissa Carunungan live via Zoom. Ma'am, good evening. Welcome to the big story.
Good evening, Sir Robbie, Ma'am Sean, and to all those watching.
We expected more or less what EDSA and our highways would look like ngayon, the last Friday, 2 days before Christmas. But is this in fact the peak? What are we expecting both for drivers as well as commuters over the next 2 days?
Yes, sir. This is already the peak of the Christmas rush. Today, the monitoring of the metro base of the MMDA showed that the congested areas are the areas near the bus stations and bus terminals. So in preparation for this, the MMDA has deployed our traffic enforcers in those areas since December 19. we are full force today. There is a no-leave policy. Our chairman, Attorney Artes, also conducted an inspection of the terminals together with the officials of the Department of Transportation. However, sir, we expect that the traffic will become much lighter starting tomorrow.
But if you could expound a bit as well on allowing the provincial buses to have access all along EDSA, until when will that be in effect, and how will that affect the flow of traffic over the next 2 days?
Yes, sir. So provincial buses will be allowed to traverse EDSA starting tomorrow, December 24, up to January 2, 2023. Based from past years, we expect that the traffic along EDSA during this time is lighter. So the scheme is really aimed to accommodate the expected influx of passengers going home to their provinces and ensure their convenience and comfort.
Right. Alyssa, just to drive a little bit deeper into what Robbie was asking, when the buses traverse EDSA, is it just a pass-through thing, or will they be allowed to pick up passengers on the roadsides? Because even though sometimes we don't allow them to do that, they still will.
Yes, ma'am. So they will only be allowed to traverse EDSA on the condition that the provincial buses from North Luzon shall terminate their trips at the bus terminals in Cubao, Quezon City, while those provincial buses coming from South Luzon will have to terminate their trips in the bus terminals in Pasay City. So what we are trying to prevent, ma'am, is the crisscross of the buses along EDSA that will cause congestion.
Right. Well, a lot of people will also be just staying here within Metro Manila for the Christmas holidays. And in the, I would say, a month maybe leading up to Christmas, the big problem for commuters is catching a ride. Have you guys prepared for, enough maybe modes of transportation or extra units to be deployed along major thoroughfares so that people can actually move about even if it's already a holiday tomorrow and of course on Sunday?
Yes, ma'am. So this falls under the jurisdiction of the Department of Transportation as well as the LTFRB. However, on the part of the MMDA, we are doing our part to help them as much as we can. We have a Viber group called Operation Biyahe Pasko 2022. In this group, we check for the number of PUVs in the areas, in the airports, in the terminals, and we keep the group updated. On the part of the MMDA, we help with the Oplan Isnabero of the LTFRB, and if there is any experience of commuters that they are rejected by taxi drivers or jeepney drivers, they can call the MMDA hotline at 136 and we will make a report and send it to the different government agencies po.
Okay, ma'am, one last question na lang po. Number coding through the holidays, what can people expect?
Yes, sir. So recently po, President Bongbong Marcos Jr. has announced that December 26 is a holiday, so coding will be suspended on that day as well as Result Day, December 30 and January 2.
Okay, but between those two holidays, number coding will be in effect?
Yes, number coding is in effect on weekdays. However, on weekends, there is no number coding.
Okay, sige. Maraming salamat po. That was MMDA spokesperson Melissa Karunungan.
Right after the break, we'll check in on customers doing last-minute Christmas shopping over at Manila's bargain haven, Divisoria. Financial expert Chinkee Tan will also be joining us for some shopping tips. That and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
watching the big story here on One News. Last-minute shoppers are flocking to Divisoria ahead of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. To give the latest on the ground, Mon Gualvez is reporting to us live from Divisoria. Mon, kamusta dyan?
You know what, Robbie? It seems like there's no more pandemic in the volume of shoppers here in Divisoria 2 days before Christmas. People doing their last-minute shopping are on the hunt for giftables that actually fit their budget. Elias Street in Divisoria, Manila as Christmas nears. But sellers still consider this thick crowd as normal compared to before the pandemic.
Kaunti pa lang po yan. Madaming mga ikot-ikot. Pero hindi naman namimili lahat. Siguro may mga masya lang.
Jeneline pulled all stops in search for a cheap gift option for their children this Christmas. She only has a budget of 1,000 pesos and this has to include their family's Noche Buena.
Yung amin, sakto lang kahit anong meron kami. Para sa mga anak, basta may bagong dahil Pasko naman.
Meanwhile, some managed to rummage through the crowd of last-minute shoppers. Just like Jolina, who said she just found free time now to buy gifts before she travels to Pangasinan.
Kaya dito kami namili para pag-uwi namin may dadalhin kami. Mas mura po kasi yung mga bilihin dito, sir.
Vendors are thankful that they are now earning a bit more than during the onslaught of the lockdown. But unlike before, when they could accommodate buyers who bargain, this time they insisted the prices they offer are fair.
Iba talaga ang supplier, tumataas din yung angkat nila. Kaya ito yung pagkakataon na to, samantalahin natin.
As for the police, some have admonished vendors blocking the roads. Motorcycles were also subjected to the random oplansita. Each corner in the area has policemen manning to hype up police visibility and patrol in Divisoria. Since December started, only one pickpocket incident has been reported in Divisoria.
Minsan yung mga buyer at vendor nagkakalituhan sa bayaran, suklian, nagkakaroon ng diskusyon, yun, pupunta sa office.
Authorities continue to remind the public to no longer bring their children when buying and to stay vigilant in looking after their belongings. Robbie, at the moment, traffic is building up in this part of Recto Avenue in Divisoria, but it is because of the vehicles, rather due to the people who are actually dominating the roads, and adding to that, the motorists gathering from one Luna Street in this corner. Their dilemma right now is actually the number of last-minute shoppers is expected to double tomorrow here in Divisoria. Robbie.
All right, thank you so much for that update and stay safe. Mon Gualvez reporting to us live from Divisoria. And to share with us some budget-friendly tips for last-minute Christmas shopping, joining us on the show is Magbudget Tayo host and finance expert Chinkee Tan. Chinkee, good evening. Welcome to the big story.
Hi, Sean. Hi, Robbie. Thank you very much for inviting.
Alright, siguro, Chinkee, na lang yung tips for lahat ng crammer, yung mga super last-minute shopping. Katulad
you know what? It's really so stressful to shop right now at the last minute because, again, you cannot think well and you're forced to buy on the things probably you don't like just to impress the people that you hate. And I would highly recommend number one, still the best way for you to do last-minute shopping is to shop online. You can shop at the comfort of your home. And you can do it at night and day. And probably some of you might say, it's too late for me. But you can just tell your friends that it will be delivered after Christmas. And then don't give so many gifts, especially for people you don't really like or you don't really know well. Or probably you can meet them only once, probably once a year. Because it's very important. Christmas is a time not only for giving to please other people, but Christmas is really a time of celebrating. And if you really want some practical gifts, Robbie and Sean, you can do some handmade gifts or probably can cook some food and you can share it with your friends and loved ones.
Okay, yes. But speaking of food, kasi we're talking about gifts. Pero ito, medyo hindi pa masyadong too late to. Bukas, kainan, maraming magkain. People are still doing their groceries at marami pa rin piniprepare ng mga pagkain. On that front, sa mga party, sa mga handaan, pwede ba tayo magtipid?
Of course, definitely one practical thing no, na pwede natin gawin is what we call as potluck. Dapat hindi ikaw may burden lang na magluluto at magpe-prepare. Mas maganda na rin yan, you tell everyone no, to bring one meal or probably one dessert no, para mag-potluck ba, mag-chip in ba, and then give their best. Ang gagandaan, matatry natin yung mga pagkain ng lahat. No? That's another way. No? And then if not, ang isa pang pwede natin gawin is mag-chip in na rin kayo. If you chip in, everybody contributes probably 300 pesos, 500 pesos, and ask one person to really do the ordering, no? So it will be more practical.
Okay. Beyond Christmas, of course, we're also looking at 2023. A lot of revenge spending this season. Pero after we get past the revenge spending, now we have a whole fresh year to look at. What are your tips for people in the coming year?
Definitely next year will be a very interesting year because I always tell people we don't know what's happening only in our country but also worldwide. There are a lot of people who are saying that we might have a global recession, not only a local recession, because of the increase of the prices. At the same time, U.S. is overprinting money and they cannot increase their interest rate that much. So definitely, I would give you two strategies next year. Number one is decrease, and number two, increase. Decrease in terms of spending. Do not spend on unnecessary things, and probably you can delay on probably big things that you want to purchase, such as property or cars or things that are not essentials, or probably a big travel that you want to splurge on. So you can probably reserve it. And number two, increase your income. 2023, I do believe there will be a great opportunity for people to become more entrepreneur, to find new opportunities, especially in the area of online, anything that is online related business, especially on the area of food, technology, online, beauty and wellness, health and wellness, and at the same time, anything that deals with finances. That will be a great opportunity.
Gusto ko yung tip mo no, about increasing. Like, so for a lot of people, Christmas is very lucrative also. You get a lot of aguinaldo, a lot of angpaos. So for people that have like an X amount of savings, maybe from Christmas or they've been saving up instead of revenge spending, because nga mataas yung inflation, Chinkee, and we don't know what's going to happen next year, how can we, make sure we, grow our savings?
Yeah, definitely. Again, the best way is for you to look at your money as a seed money. Just like I always tell people, you just need to think like a farmer. When a farmer has a seedling, what does a farmer do? They plant it, they water it, they grow it, and they eat the fruits, but they don't eat the seeds. So it's very important for you to be able, number one, to start a business. Start a side hustle. That would be great because what this pandemic really taught all of us that you and I cannot afford to have only one source of income. If you rely only one source of income, what happens if the income is gone? So that's number one. Number two, and probably can invest it on high yielding or better yielding compared to the bank. One of the best thing that you can get into. Number one, there are a lot of e-banks right now that offers 4.5% to 6% interest per annum. That's number one. Or number two, you can put it also on Pag-ibig MP2, which has they give a high performance of 5% to 7% interest per annum. So that's the second thing that you can do. And the third thing that you can do is invest in yourself, to invest on new skills, because there are a lot of work from home opportunities right now, such as becoming a virtual assistant, or if not, you can also sell something online. And one thing that's really hitting the market right now is selling online, selling products on the platform of TikTok. TikTok Shop right now is really creating a huge wave right now in online e-commerce.
All right, thank you so much for all those tips. Magbudget tayo host and finance expert, Chinkee Tan. Right after this break, fans of Pinoy rock band Eraserheads went home with a lot more than just a smile after the reunion concert in Parañaque. That and more when the big story returns. Keep it here on One News.
You're still watching The Big Story here on One News. Tens of thousands of fans trooped to Parañaque on Thursday to watch the iconic band Eraserheads in their reunion concert. MJ Marfori gives us the details.
Around 70,000 fans of iconic rock band Eraserheads flocked to the SMDC Festival grounds to witness the group's reunion concert dubbed Huling El Bimbo. The crowd was wild right from the first song, the 1995 hit Super Proxy, from the Heads' third album, Cutter Pillow. The late rapper Francis Magalona, who is a friend of the band, was featured in a hologram. Francis M's son Elmo, who also performed on stage, says that the experience was nothing short of unbelievable. The band played most of the tracks from the Cutter Pillow album in the first set, which included hits like Overdrive, and Torpedo. With a heavy volume of fans in the area, security personnel were present to manage the crowd. Food stalls were also put up for hungry and thirsty fans. The concert lasted for 3 hours and featured 31 songs, including a special number with Gary Valenciano. The reunion was also witnessed by fans at home via the smart live stream app and Signal TV pay-per-view. For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
Still planning your holiday activities for this weekend? Well, here are some of the best places in the metro where you can celebrate the spirit of Christmas. For the faithful, the Malacanang grounds remain open to the public until December 24 for Simbang Gabi. Masses will be held at 4:30 a.m. in front of the Mabini Hall. President Marcos is also inviting the public to view the palace's Christmas tree and lanterns. The palace grounds will be open from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. The president said guests will be treated to Puto Bumbong, a play on the traditional Christmas delicacy, Puto Bumbong. You may also visit the Quezon Memorial Circle in Quezon City to witness its tunnel of lights. The park also features a dancing fountain and a giant Christmas tree made from native materials. Children and kids at heart, meanwhile, may enjoy various rides and food stalls at the amusement park. The QC Circle is open as early as 5 in the morning until 10 in the evening.
And that's really it. It's the final big story. Well, at least until Christmas Day.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Sean.
Merry Christmas, Robbie.
Maligayang Pasko po sa inyong lahat. And that is the big story tonight. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. You may also log on to onenews.ph for more analysis. Ako po si Robbie Alampay.
The Big Story is also available via Signal Play. Make a free account at signalplay.com and stream One News anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao. Stay safe and Merry, Merry Christmas, Philippines.
We wish you a joyful and fruitful holiday season. We are One News, all sides, all the time. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.